Hi, I am Olivier. I'm a developer advocate at AWS, and in this video, we're going to see how to build an image gallery app in React and host it on AWS Amplify using my best AI friend, CodeWhisperer. So CodeWhisperer is a generative AI coding companion that you can install on IDE. In this video, we're going to use VSCode, but it also works in other IDEs like IntelliJ, for example. And it supports a vast variety of languages such as Python, Java, JavaScript, C# and TypeScript. Let's begin. So here is my VS Code where I have bootstrapped a very basic application which is using React. And I've already set up the authenticator here so we don't have to do it later. The first thing I want to do is to make sure that CodeWhisperer is installed and activated. So I'm going to go in the AWS extension here and click on the Resume Auto Suggestion to activate CodeWhisperer. Now this is an Amplify project, so what I want to do is I want to start by configuring my project. So I'm going to go in the index.js here. And look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a comment. And the goal is that CodeWhisperer will take this comment and then propose me some code. Okay, so let's write import the relevant packages and bootstrap an Amplify app. And as soon as I type enter, CodeWhisperer will analyze this comment and then propose me some code. So let's type enter. And proposing me import Amplify, just tap tab to validate, typing enter, and it continues as long as I type enter, it will continue to propose me some code. So now it's proposing me to import the configure file, okay, and then to configure my project. So that's what I wanted to. So let's save and see if it worked. Let's go to my browser, and okay, no error, my application works. It's pretty ugly, but this is the sign up page. So let's go if I can fix this ugly page. I want to go in my add.js here, and I'm going to say, okay, I want to import React UI CSS. And it's proposing me to, yeah, that sounds good to me. Let's save and check. I have this beautiful sign-in page, so that works. Okay, let's sign in to see my application now. Password, sign in. Okay, and this is my application. So right now there is nothing, but the goal is that I want to see my images here, and I also want to be able to do things like upload new images, for example. So let's see how we can do that. So I'm going to use Amplify to connect to my storage. So I want to import that first. So let's write a command to say import storage from Amplify, tapping enter, and that sounds good to me. But now I need a function to retrieve my images. So let's write a function. So let's just set a command and say, I want a function to list all the files from Amazon S3. I want to put the results in the files variable, which is the variables I created earlier. So let's type enter. So right now it's just proposing me the name of the function, but I can continue and type enter after that. And it's proposing me the rest of the function. But there's a little bit of adjustment we need to do. Like, for example, it doesn't know that it's result.results that I need, but that should work now. And I'm going to call this list file function here in my use effects. So I have my list when I load the component. And let's go see in my browser if it worked. See, I have my 3 files. Well, I don't see the images because I only have the keys of the images and I need the signed URL. So let's see if we can fix that too. So let's say we want a function to get the signed URL for my images. So I'm going to write a command say, I want a function that returns a signed URL for a file from my S3 storage and using the Amplify storage. Typing enter, yeah, propose me a function. That sounds good to me. So now we see how to create function, but let's see if we can add comment inside an existing function because I want to retrieve the signed URL for all the files in my storage. So let's go inside my list files function and said, I want for each result or results, create a new property that calls get signed URL and assign the result to the new property called signed URL. Sounds pretty easy. And let's type enter. So it's proposing me to do like a loop. Yeah, that's good. And then to call the get signed URL for every result. So I'm going to type tab to validate that. And you can see that it's calling the good function. So now let's go see in my browser if it worked. And I have my beautiful images. That's perfect. Well, now let's say there's one of the images I don't really like and I want to delete it. So let's see how we can add this feature to my code. So I'm going to need a function to delete files. So again, a function to delete all files from Amazon S3 using Amplify storage. You can see I didn't even type enter and it's already proposing me the function. So it's proposing me to do this delete function, and I love it because it even proposes me to list the file after. So when I delete the file, it knows that I want to refresh my list. That's perfect. Typing enter, Okay, that's what it proposes it's something you should know that you don't need to accept every proposition that CodeWhisperer does. You can just ignore it and say, okay, I don't need that. So now I want to, call that function. And I told you that CodeWhisperer is optimized for JavaScript, but it also works with other languages. Like for example, with HTML, let's see how it works. So I go to my template here and I said, I want a button that calls delete file with the item.key as an argument. Let's type enter. If CodeWhisperer doesn't propose you anything, you can force it by using the shortcut Option-C on Mac or Alt-C on Windows. And so we'll trigger CodeWhisperer for you directly. So here proposing me like this button, onClick delete file. That sounds good for me. Let's give it a label. And then let's go to my browser to see how it works. So I have my button here. So let's click see. And it works. My image is deleted and it's refreshing the list. Perfect, that's what I wanted to. Now, maybe I want my image back, so let's see if I can, add a function to upload images. So I'm gonna use the UI Amplify component here. So I'm gonna ask it to import it. So it's called File Uploader, so import File Uploader from Amplify UI React. Okay, that's the one. And then I don't need JavaScript, I just need to add it in my HTML. So it's a bit more complicated here for this component, but let's say I want to say a file uploader component with access file type images, because I only want images to be uploaded. And to S3 with access level public. And then I want to call the list files again, so it refreshes my, my list of images. Okay, let's see what it proposes when I type enter. So file uploader accepted file type, that sounds good. Access level public, that sounds good too. And it's calling my list file afterwards. So perfect. It just needs to be, again, a little bit of adjustment here for the image, just to add /*. But that should work now. So let's go see my browser if it works. So I have this beautiful UI. Look at this component. Okay, let's browse a file to re-add the images I deleted here. So I'm going to select it, click on upload file, and my images appears and the list is refreshed. Just to show you how this component is amazing. I can upload multiple files at once. So I'm going to upload like 3 files, for example. Here, open. But I have the 3 images and they're added to my list, and that's perfect. I love it. So now you have an application. What can we do more? You may notice that we have this item.size. So that's the size of the image, which is in bytes. Now that's not very nice. So let's try to make it more human readable and see if we can do a function for that. So here again, I'm going to say, I want to create a new function, right? So let's write a command and say, I want a function named format bytes look at that. CodeWhisperer is even proposing me the rest of the command that will then be used to generate the code. I love it. So it takes a number as a parameter and returns a string with the number rounded to 2 decimal. Okay, let's see what it comes with that. So I have this function. Okay, give me the whole function. Well, okay, I'm gonna trust it for the demo here. It does some math.log things. So let's just call the format byte function. So I'm gonna change my template here, remove the item.size, and call the format. Look at that. CodeWhisperer, it even knows that I want to call the function with what was there before. Okay, let's save it and go in my interface. That's brilliant. Look at that. I have this very nice looking image size now. So I think we've done a great job, and we have a working application here to list, delete, and add new images to my application. So we just saw how, starting from a basic project, we built an image gallery application in React with AWS Amplify using CodeWhisperer. And we just saw a few features of CodeWhisperer. It can also help you with things like security scan or writing tests. So if you want to learn more about it, check in the link in the description below. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe. Happy coding!